What I'd like to have right now is for all of you to join us as we go live on the Raw After Show right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes!
Some of the absolute best theme music you could possibly imagine. Now, of course, there were obviously some more obvious choices we could have gone with.
No, this was the only obvious choice.
But when the ravishing one is going into the Hall of Fame, there's only one choice.
Oh, that chest.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. As always, we are the Monday Night Raw After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV. We are talking Raw episode number 1241, coming to you live from Chicago. My name is Ty Matthews. As always, y'all can find me on social media at Ty Matthews PMA. Johnny LaQuasto, of course, is not with us, but he's with us in spirit. He will be right back here, same bat time, same bat channel next week.
Yeah,
he's still with us.
Yes.
I just mean physically not in the studio with us.
Metaphysically speaking, he's always here.
And of course. I mean, time is a flat circle. We know. We know how it works. Guys, that lovely voice you hear, she's a regular part of the squad every week here on the Raw After Show. She's an actress and improvisator?
Yeah.
You know, someone that does improv. She's incredibly talented. You can find her here every single week. You can find her online at McCarty. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Markeia McCarty.
Yeah. Oh, I love that Mark is still playing the music.
It's incredible.
It's so sexy. I can't not.
You really can't. You really can't. And of course, guys on the ones and twos, he is also lovely and talented. We get him on the ones and twos whenever we can. You can find him online at Mark Bidonica because he's Mark Bidonica.
Hi, everybody. I would like to consider myself the ravishing Rick Rude of AfterBuzz TV, but then I immediately got lynched.
Oh, jeez. Well, I like it. I think it's official.
Yeah, but you'd have to walk around with your shirt off.
And you gotta get more airbrushed. You gotta get more airbrushed spandex in your wardrobe, Mark. I gotta say.
You say that without knowing if I do or don't.
I mean, you got a good point. You got a very good point. Knowing Mark like I do.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got someone's wife on his pants.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, mine.
Yours. There you go. It's yours. Exactly. Well, guys, we're on the road to WrestleMania, of course.
Yes.
Our very last stop was last night at Fastlane. Quite a bit happened. We've got a brand new Universal Champion.
Yeah. That was that was karma.
Of course.
That's what that was.
Of course. You knew he was coming back at some point.
You knew and he knew. That's why he set up like Pavlov's dog as soon as he heard Jericho's music come on. He was searching all around. He's like, "Oh, I knew it. I knew that this would happen."
He's not going to let what happened go unchecked. You dig?
Man, he definitely dug his face into that mat.
Because Kevin Owens, before too long, he's going to get
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we're coming to you from, not we, but Raw is coming to you from the Allstate Arena in Chicago. A crowd of 13,000. Of course, Speak the Devil, Y2J is out first. This is the birthplace of Y2J.
Yeah, they were feeling him too.
August of 1999 was the birth of Y2J.
Okay.
When I go back and watch old wrestling clips, it's one of the very first ones that I go back to, just because the reaction of the crowd when they see Jericho on the screen is absolutely incredible.
Nice.
Very similar to the reaction he got tonight.
Yeah.
This crowd,
so much love.
The WWE universe has been dying to love Jericho for so long.
Yeah, now that he's gotten out of that really abusive relationship,
That's what it was.
They're on his side. They're letting him know, we love you, we care for you, you're better than KO. Let's go do brunch.
Exactly.
We're good. We've got the deep dish.
Everyone's here for him. They're here for the gift of Jericho. But of course he's looking for answers. You know, this is the resurrection of Chris Jericho, but he wants answers.
He wants closure. That's what he wants.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. He wants to know why.
Yeah, we get you, baby. We get you about that closure.
You can't just break up with someone out of the blue and not tell him why.
Yeah. It's like, I need this answer. I need to know.
Exactly. He calls out his former best friend, Kevin Owens, who is quick to tell him, "You were never my best friend." I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
He said, "Sami Zayn was my best friend."
Oof. Oof.
And you saw what I did to him.
Oof.
He said you were nothing more than a tool.
This was all the hurtful. This was unnecessary.
He was,
I mean, there's salt in the wound, and then there's just like stabbing the wound over and over again.
This is keeping it 100, taking it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, and you saw a close up on Jericho. He had these puppy dog eyes, and he was wearing a snazzy jacket. You know, he came out for show.
Oh, of course.
You know, he was looking good.
Those are the only kind of jackets that Jericho knows.
That is true.
But he said, you know what? When I became the Universal Champion, Triple H told me I needed to find someone to watch my back, but he needed someone that was gullible.
Ooh.
And sadly, the Ayatollah of Rock and Roll fit that bill.
Ooh, stabby, stabby, stabby.
And you know but if it makes him feel any better, he was a perfect tool. He was a perfect tool until he outlived his usefulness and he accepted that title match on behalf of Kevin Owens versus Goldberg.
Yeah, that wasn't cool.
I mean,
we'll be honest, that wasn't cool.
If we're being real,
yeah,
I'd be a little miffed.
Real talk. That was kind of a dick move.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So,
but you know, that's Jericho. He kind of understands. He says, you know what? I was complacent. And that's why he was looking for a best friend.
Yeah.
That's why he was okay with the idea of having a best friend.
Yeah.
But 8 years ago, that Jericho might have done the exact same thing.
Who knows?
You know?
Who knows when we look back on our past selves?
That Jericho smashed Chyna's thumb with a hammer. I don't know if you guys remember how crazy early Jericho
Glorious.
was. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That era Jericho was a little bit crazy. So you know what? It all evens out. It all evens out. But now he's got friends.
Yeah.
Now he's got 15,000 friends.
Yeah.
He's got the friends of Jericho.
Cheer me on,
Cheer me
man.
on, man. Oh, incredible. That's the thing. It's the cycle of Jericho. When he's a rule breaker, when he's hated, he comes up with all these brilliant catchphrases, and then he like a master puppeteer, he turns and everyone loves him again.
The cycle of Jericho.
Exactly. But over the course of this back and forth, we get a challenge made.
Yeah, he did that pretty quick
Because
too.
this is just the beginning on a road that ends, of course, at the Ultimate Thrill Ride, WrestleMania. But Kevin Owens, being the prize fighter that he is, we know he does not fight unless something's on the line. So he demands that Jericho put that United States title on the line.
And how awesome is that? It's like, yes, I want the two of them to tussle over that belt.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And we're not going to have to wait until then for the tussling.
No, not at all.
They're going to start it right here,
In fact,
now.
they got to it pretty darn quick.
Exactly.
Which I loved.
We get some nice brawling back and forth. Of course, Samoa Joe is out to help out Kevin Owens.
He came out of his blind spot.
That's what he does.
He carries it around like a bag of holding or something, and he jumped out of that blind spot, and then there he was in Jericho's face.
It's one of those portable black holes from the cartoons.
Yeah, like was it Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Exactly.
Like, boop.
Yeah, exactly. But Sami Zayn's out to even the odds with a steel chair, no less.
Yeah,
and
equalizer.
Sadly, fans of Teddy Long that we are, we were like Pavlov's dog. We were trained. We were waiting for it. Yeah, but alas, it was not to be.
Yeah.
Because we've got one-on-one action. Kevin Owens taking on his former best friend Sami Zayn. What'd you think?
Oh, yes. Yeah, and let's be honest. We wanted this. We wanted this to come back around. I mean, after Sami Zayn got tired of, busting his head against a brick wall, that brick wall's name was Braun Strowman.
Sure.
So then, I want him to...
And then a similarly thick brick wall named Samoa Joe.
Exactly. He just loves to take on the big guys.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think they were just substitutes for that one guy that broke his bromancy heart.
They're all just surrogates. They're surrogate Kevinses.
Yeah, but then he went after some Kevin Owens tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But this is a reinvigorated Kevin Owens, I think. Now that he has been screwed out of his Universal title.
Yeah, he's different.
He's out.
He's tough.
He's out to prove a point.
Yeah.
And so not just one pop-up power bomb,
Oh, yeah.
but a pop-up power bomb, maybe a neck breaker against the knee, a somersault leg drop, and then another pop-up power bomb. And then maybe that's enough to send a message.
Yeah, he was working out some stuff, you know. We were the winners in that. Sami Zayn was not.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, I was happy to see them back in the ring together. I was. You know, back when, you know, when KO and Sami were first out. And then you got a little bit, you know, I'm a little bit fatigued. I'm not going to say tired of it.
Sure.
Because they're great wrestlers.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they're revisiting that. And
Exactly.
I'm okay with them going ahead and having a couple of matches like this.
Even cookie dough ice cream you can get sick of after a while.
And
you know,
that's delicious.
you need some variety in there.
Like Thin Mint ice cream.
Exactly.
Does
there
that
you go.
exist?
Like sure.
It should.
Like our Thin Mints.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
Like Thin Mint.
You got it. Of course, next up we've got a glorious package.
Oh, yes.
You know. Obviously, we had Ravishing
The
Recruit at the top of the
package.
show. There's going to be a lot of talk about packages, but this is not a good package, not a bad package, but the package. And of course, that's Austin Aries' package.
Yeah, because he played it during Fastlane, and I guess it made a big hit.
Yeah.
You know, it had to, or he says that it made a big hit, which is the same thing.
When you show that many people your package, it's obvious it's bound to make an impact.
Yeah, I mean, it has to. You know, and
Exactly.
Yeah,
Some
it's
might say
fantastic.
it's the greatest package that's ever lived.
some might say that.
You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But because we've since his injury, we've seen a lot of Austin Aries on commentary, which is of course awesome.
Yes.
But we know on a long enough timeline, we're gonna see him mix it up in there.
We were hoping for it
Of
because, you
course.
know, it was coming around, and then having him expose his package on Fastlane, you know, it's like, okay, then
It's a big stage. It's a big
Yeah.
stage. If you're gonna show off your package, why not do it on that big of a stage?
Exactly.
Exactly.
So then we knew that there had to be something coming down the pipe.
Sure.
And we didn't have to wait long for it.
You don't just show that package for no reason.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Neville defending his Cruiserweight title against Rich Swann. Awesome stuff. Rich Swann,
Yeah.
a house of fire at first, you know, really getting the best of Neville until he gets sent into that LED board on the side of the ring.
Yeah.
Head first.
That was like a reset for his head.
It was
And
like
he
lawn
he
dart
was just-
style.
Yeah, he was just going after that. But he did that beautiful flip off the top turnbuckle.
Of course.
And I wish that it connected.
Oh, that
But-
Phoenix Splash is a
oh,
thing of beauty
it
for
was
sure.
Gorgeous.
But it's not enough. Neville rolls out of the way. He hits that massive superplex.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's been using a superplex to finish people off is a testament to how beautiful it is. The fact that it can have that much impact and be a credible finishing move in an era where it's become pretty common.
Yeah, you believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You believe it when you see it, and you're like, oh yeah, just stay down, honey.
Of course.
Stay down.
And-
We understand.
And obviously, you know, this isn't the Fastlane after show, but to his credit in his match against Jack Gallagher, you know, he's claimed that the WWE Universe doesn't deserve the Red Arrow. But that means that when he does bust it out, he feels like he has to.
Yeah, then that says something about the opponent that he's with.
Exactly.
That the Red Arrow or a nuclear bomb basically
Sure.
is needed.
Exactly. Guys, if you didn't see the last night's Cruiserweight title match between Neville and Jack Gallagher,
Yes,
good
go see
Lord.
Gentleman Jack.
That was a
Oh.
gorgeous affair.
That was nice. And
Headbutts aplenty.
Yeah, Jack doesn't high fly a lot from what I've noticed,
Right.
but he busted out for that move.
Exactly,
Yeah, he
exactly.
did for that match.
But after the superplex, it isn't quite enough to put Swann away. He goes for the Phoenix Splash, misses. Neville goes for the cover, gets a 2 count, but transitions smoothly into the rings of Saturn.
Yeah, and then that was over.
When you lock in the rings, that's it.
And
That's
you
a
saw
wrap.
Swann. You saw him struggle for a second. He's like, oh God, no, no. This isn't happening.
That is not an easy move to get out of.
Yeah, like he knocked some dance out of that butt.
So Neville remains the king of the cruiserweights. Of course, A Double himself, Austin Aries, comes in doing his duties as a broadcaster,
Yeah.
interviewing the king.
You know, complete with microphone.
Of course.
Just like in the middle of the ring, be like, okay, great. Let's talk about how you felt about the fight.
Let's talk it out. How'd you
Yeah.
feel? And Neville, he's a surly boy. He's such a surly boy.
Yeah, he's got some snarky snapback.
Exactly, and he claims that there's no competition. There's no competition. at his weight class. Absolutely nobody.
Yeah, apparently he hadn't seen Austin Aries' package from earlier.
He wasn't. Why weren't you paying attention, Neville? When someone shows off their package, you gotta watch, you gotta look, because you gotta
learn.
You gotta be on a swivel.
Neville's the type of guy where you got to put the package right in his face.
You gotta really put it there.
Apparently you do.
You gotta really put it there. And Austin, he kind of, he's like, are you sure? You sure there's absolutely
There's
no competition?
None at all.
None at all. Not even right in front
Giving
of you.
him an out, pretty much. Giving him an out.
But if he didn't give that out, that crowd absolutely would have, because they were feeling Austin Aries. And Neville eventually he starts coming around, but he's not happy about that implication.
No. He wasn't a happy sport about that.
Nope.
No.
Nope. He is pronouncing those words sharply enough to send a whole lot of spit in Austin Aries' face.
Yep.
And the guy's just trying to do his job. And he just wants to ask Neville one last question. More of a statement, really.
Oh yeah.
And that statement was suspiciously punch shaped.
Yes, it was. It was a punch shaped statement to his face.
Followed by a gorgeous rolling elbow.
Yeah, and the crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
Because who hasn't wanted that to happen? I mean, think about it. Like, I know you've done some broadcasting stuff, and Johnny has, and the such. And how fulfilling is it to throw down the microphone? You're not supposed to be part of the fight, and then you're a tussling.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's fun for everybody else watching too.
When that crowd isn't expecting it. I've gotten in there. I've mixed it up. I've thrown in some gores when I was supposed to be broadcasting, and that reaction is like nothing else.
Yeah.
So I get it. So I'm excited to see where they go with this. Where they go with the Neville A-double saga.
There we go. I like that.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Backstage, we got the realest guys in the room, Enzo and Cass, who run into Cesaro and Sheamus. They have some words back and forth. Of course, Enzo and Cass have a rematch later on for the Raw Tag Team titles against Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah. Sheamus and Cesaro are just so cool now.
They're
you
buds
notice
now.
That? Yeah, they're just super cool. I mean, you think back when they're arguing, they can't even load a trunk,
Right.
at the same time. But they're hanging out because they want to, backstage.
Yeah.
Like, all right then. That was a really great match, Foley. Thank you.
Exactly.
They needed to work out that 7.
Right. It took 7 matches, and then a couple more months after that.
Yeah.
Now they're buds. They were showing off a lot of really good rapport last night on the pre-show, on the Fastlane pre-show. A lot of good stuff tonight. They're just a fully fledged team now.
They are.
And they've got one of the coolest team entrances around, I gotta say.
They do. It's really come together. It's like symbiotic what they have, the two of them together.
Now, which one's Spider-Man and which one's Venom?
Oh, okay. Oh, you're going that route.
You got it.
I was thinking like alligator and the bird that cleans the teeth. But yeah, I like that.
I feel like that is more Enzo and Cass.
That is more Enzo and Cass. You're right. Venom. I'll say Sheamus because people don't like Venom.
Of course. Just a very white Venom.
Yeah.
Super white Venom.
It's like negative Venom.
Like anti-venom.
Like anti-Venom.
Yes,
There
yes,
you go.
there we
You got
go.
it. Of course, Goldberg, the new Universal Champion, is out to the ring.
By the way. Wow.
Yep.
Oof.
Yep.
Did you expect it? I
did.
Curious.
I
Yeah?
did. I feel like it had been long enough since we had seen Chris Jericho that some shenanigans had to be afoot. And of course, as big as Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar is, it can only be bigger if it's for the Universal title.
That is true. That's true. Like, between the two of them, well, I guess we're just going to see them for a little bit after WrestleMania then, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have to.
Absolutely. Goldberg's out. He says he's humbled by the response. He says, this is your title. This is the WWE Universe's title. Fitting that it be the Universal Championship. But he's
CM Punk chant.
Well, of course, the first of many.
Chicago, we love you.
The first of many, many, many
Oh,
CM
y'all.
Punk chants.
Oh, y'all.
Eventually, you know what? Everyone started embracing them because they kind of have to.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, if you ignore them, they're just going to keep getting louder. Goldberg tries valiantly to embrace them. I don't think he really knows what to say, but he tries. But, alas, he's interrupted by our favorite advocate, Paul Heyman.
Oh, for some reason, I knew the answer, but you looking at me and Johnny's usually over there. I was about to say the Big Show.
The Big Show.
The Big Show.
Exactly. Thank you, Teddy. Oh, you're here in spirit.
There you go.
But he says, there's only one person that's happier than Goldberg. That Goldberg won the Universal title. And that, of course, is his client, Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
And he's not alone. He's not alone because Brock himself is in the house. Mm-hmm. And you knew things had to get combustible when Brock and Goldberg are that close to each other.
Yes. He's just staring lasers.
Oh, of course. That's his only setting. His only setting is eye lasers. That's the only way. That's the only way he can look at people.
That, and that he's like got Terminator vision, and he's like cataloging all your weaknesses, like this joint, bend back here.
Exactly.
He's gonna take your motorcycle jacket.
And Heyman, he doesn't make predictions. He makes spoilers, and he says at WrestleMania, everyone will be able to say, "There goes Goldberg, Brock's bitch."
It's like, what?
And Brock puts the exclamation point on that statement.
Yeah.
With an F5.
Oh, it was beautiful. He did that to Goldberg. That just happened while Goldberg was holding his belt. Mm-hmm. Heyman had flanked him. So, when he said, Brock's bitch, then he turns and looks, and boom, he's on the mat, and that's it.
Classic distraction.
Yeah. That was super well done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And everybody's like, what?
Right. And it was such a perfect kind of 1-2 combination because that line in 2017 is enough to kind of get people's ears to prick up. And then immediately, as soon as people had time to react to that, boom.
It's like it's done.
F5, you're donezo.
Yeah. The hyena distracted from the lion getting the kill.
That's what it is. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Brock Scar, Heyman's the hyenas. That's what it is.
Thank you. That's what I'm going for.
You got it. Next up, wait.
Well,
John Acosta's not here, so we got to do him justice because this next match is a tag team match.
You know it's the Mac Militant coming to get it on.
Oh, there we go. I almost forgot about it. We got Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy taking on Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson for those Raw tag team titles. Because Enzo and Cass, they ain't looking for pity in the Windy City.
No, apparently not.
That's right. They're looking for that gold, like Jordan, in all of those years that they named.
In 91. In all the other years.
Exactly.
I'm sure there's a lot of them. My dad's a Bulls fan.
I only know 96 and 97 because of Back to Back by Drake. That's all I know. Yes. That's the extent of my b-ball knowledge, guys. That and that you could beat Bill Clinton and NBA Jam.
Okay.
You got it.
Hey, no, that's we can talk wrestling. We can't talk basketball. So
exactly.
That's just it.
Unless it's NBA Jam. Yeah. But Cass is in there, he's looking good. He's a house of fire. Hits a big boot, hits the Empire elbow on Carl Anderson. Enzo with a huge suicide dive onto Gallows and Anderson. Almost forgot that Cesaro and Sheamus are spectating at ringside.
With their cappuccino.
And it's like Chekhov's gun, guys. You don't bring coffee to a wrestling match unless something's about to go down.
Especially with a celebrating Enzo. Who's just feeling he was feeling himself because he landed that suicide dive.
Enzo's already hyperactive enough, but after a successful suicide dive,
man,
on one.
That little squirrel was dancing with his nut.
Exactly.
It was just like,
and just right into Cesaro. That coffee goes everywhere.
All in their suits. He's gonna have to tear that away later. You're
exactly right. Oh man, now I just wish he had torn it off and there was just a brand new one underneath. I came prepared for this situation.
You're like, I knew this.
So Cesaro, he's not happy. He slides in the ring, almost tries to decapitate. I believe it's Enzo.
Which would have happened.
Which absolutely would have happened. Enzo ducks. He hits, I believe it's Luke Gallows, by accident, which causes the DQ.
Yeah.
Sadly.
So. Yeah.
Well, but there's a huge fracas afterwards with these 6 men.
It's a brawl.
I think Corey Graves put it best. At one point, Enzo was on Cesaro's back, much like a backpack, and Sheamus, laser accuracy, kicks him right off.
Right in the face.
And Corey Graves said it was like William Tell shooting an apple off his head with an arrow.
Yes.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, and that's how well they work as a team now. Sheamus and Cesaro, where it's like Cesaro's like, yeah, I know this is coming, and setting it up for you.
Oh, let me just face you in this direction.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Be like, oh, I got something on me. Can you brush that dirt off?
Exactly. As we talked about at the top of the show, Ravishing Rick Rude is going in to the Hall of Fame class of 2017.
Can we play his music again?
Can we get some more?
Can we play his music
get some
again?
more Rick Rude up
Please?
in here? Of course, joining the likes of Kurt Angle, the Rock and Roll Express,
Teddy Long,
Beth Phoenix. Such a great class this year. God, can we induct the music separately next year? Whoever was this a Jim Johnston joint? Mark, do you know?
I presume so.
I imagine so. That seems to be right around that era.
Man, why don't any of the wrestlers have music like this anymore? They have the butt rock that you don't like.
They got
with,
so much
Gallows
butt rock.
Gallows and Anderson's music.
But Val Venus's music, I think, was a spiritual successor to this. The hip swivel is what they had in common, of course. You can't be a wrestler with a hip swivel without music like this, with lots of saxophone in it.
Yeah. Oh, well, that saxophone.
Boy.
It gets you.
This is actually a track by David Rose
You're
called The Stripper.
Sure.
Of course it is.
Is this like the OG, like the song that you hear in like all the...
This is like public domain.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Man.
Okay, that makes sense.
Kind of like
then.
the Bumblebee theme, but it's like it actually has a name.
Right.
Or Flight of the Bumblebee?
Flight of the Bumblebee.
There you
Thank
go. You got it. But this is going to be a great class this year. I'm so excited.
Yes.
A lot of my personal favorites going in. Next up, we got Cruiserweight action. Akira Tozawa taking on Arya Daivari. Tozawa has for years and years been one of my absolute favorite competitors, and I'm so excited he's getting a bigger stage to scream on.
Yeah, and you notice how before he began the match, he shook the man's hand. Mm-hmm. He's like, I have no problem with you. I have no problem with this courtesy. I just have a problem with the Brian Kendrick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's their own little code of honor, their code of Cruiserweight honor. Goes for that gorgeous diving headbutt, just so fast. For fans of Lucha Underground, very similar to King Cuerno's arrow from the depths of hell, just like a rocket right through those ropes.
It's like he's been laser painted. It's over.
Exactly. Hits that snap German for the win.
Oh yeah, and held that beautifully too.
Gorgeous. Pin and combination. Calls out the Brian Kendrick after the match, after he wins with that snap German. And it's short and sweet. He just wants to fight right then and there.
It is, and they tease us because he's like, oh, I'll come back. We'll think about it. See me on 205 Live.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah, I liked that. I like that they did that.
Kendrick, the crafty veteran that he is, says lesson number 5. He's been giving him these life lessons.
Yes.
He's like J. Walter Weatherman. That's why you always leave a note.
He's been like hazing Akira.
But lesson number 5 is if like the dog that caught his tail and bit down, be careful what you wish for. If only they had that to punctuate it, really. Next up, we got the New Day. The New Day out with their New Day pop cycle.
Was it a pop cycle? Or was it No, wait.
It's the pop cycle.
It's the pop cycle. For some reason,
do you
I kept
see
on.
what they did there?
I do see what they did there. In my head, I kept on thinking, oh, it's a unicycle, because a unicorn.
Like unicorn, right.
Because it had a unipop.
Either could have worked.
Well,
there's some wordplay.
Pop cycle's pretty on brand.
That's good too. That's very good too. They got their ice cream. They've got T-shirts.
Yeah.
They've got their pop cycle.
And I think there's a relationship between Big E and that pop cycle.
Oh, do you?
Because he's all about that.
He was on
card.
one last night at Fastlane.
All about it. I'm like, this man loves his ice cream pops.
He just really likes
does.
it. It's like kale and orange soda. Loves it. We got New Day versus the Shining Stars.
Yeah,
It's-
you know, and they've got they need to sell real-time shares.
I really
at this
love
point.
this music.
It is nice music. It makes me think of Hibiscus.
I mean,
and
it's no
Sandy
it's no
Beaches.
Jinder Mahal's music, but I like it.
But it is. It's got his thing. Yeah, but they need to invest in just like real-time shares and and sell that to people.
Yeah.
Because I'd probably buy it.
Right, exactly. It doesn't last too long before the New Day hits the midnight hour and picks up a victory.
Yeah. It was it was straight to the point. A lot of the matches were straight to the point
Sure,
tonight.
sure.
So it was all about those pops. So
Gotta have my pops.
gotta have the pops. Mm-hmm. I think that was a cereal
the
jingle or
corn
something,
pops.
right?
That was the corn pops
That was the corn
tagline.
pops. Oh, I remember that.
Is corn pops still a thing? Martin, do you
Probably.
Probably?
Oh lords.
I love corn pops.
I love that y'all don't want your own puns.
What are you talking about, Markeia? They're the best.
I don't even know if that would really count as a pun. That was like
That was just
that was like a
something-
single entendre.
No, I would just do this instead.
Give me that good slide whistle.
Oh man, like a '90s radio show.
There you go.
Oh, I got
Dingo and the baby.
I got one for that.
There we go.
We're just gonna have an exclusively Tex Avery soundboard
Oh,
by
wow.
next week.
No, it said party
Good.
horn. I was expecting a reggaeton horn.
No, that
And that's not what that was.
wasn't a funky horn either. I'm sorry to tell you.
Oh boy,
That was a birthday horn.
I'm so excited about everything. Next up, I'm sorry to give this such a silly segue, but it being March, we're in Women's History Month,
Right.
so we get to see a recap of Trish and Lita.
Right.
And their contributions. Of course, the very first women's main event on Monday Night Raw. So that cannot be understated.
Yeah, I just love how there are two different types of rock star.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
It's similar, you know, when you get the top two in any division, whether it's male, female, something like that, they're always at opposite ends of the spectrum. You know, you look at the Attitude Era and you saw like Austin and The Rock, and
yeah.
and they couldn't have been more different from each other.
No, but just two different types of rock
They're,
star.
exactly. They were
Yeah.
both incredible, but they were kind of different flavors for the different types of fan. And I feel like, to your point, that's exactly how it was here. You know, Lita had the tattoos. She had, of course, the
They had,
thong
like
sticking out.
Janko pants.
She had the Jinko jeans. Exactly.
jeans.
Pockets all over the place.
Yeah.
But then you had Trish, who came in.
It's like a model.
Exactly.
Model.
Well, she came in as a former fitness model, as, you know, having really no wrestling experience, and she became one of kind of the legends
She was a quick learner.
of the wrestling. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She came in with a tag team called TNA. The tag team was called TNA. You
Okay.
can't get much more on the nose than that.
Yeah, that's they're not leaving anything up to chance. You know what that
It was a
is.
simpler time. It's a product of their generation.
Yeah.
A whole 15 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, that was ancient times. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No, I liked in the and what they were saying with everything when they were, you know, giving them homage and giving them honor, where they were like, yeah, it was a really big deal for them to be the main event on Monday Night Raw, and it's like it's kind of a big deal for females to be a main event now.
Sure.
So I'm like, when is that not a big deal anymore? When is it
mean,
just be like, hey, we expect this?
I don't know. I think from a purely statistical level, I think it's just, if anything else, to play devil's advocate, it's just because there's so many more men on the roster. You know,
Yeah.
you look at Raw, the division is 5 people right now. So it's just statistically, it's much more likely for there to be a male versus male main event. So I don't know if we'll get to a point where it's expected anytime soon.
I expect it because it's so solid when it happens.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I just mean, I think we would need a bigger division, which I absolutely think should happen.
Yeah, I think we should have that. Well, you know, I keep on preaching. I want the tag team women's division.
Sure.
You know, I want to see what those belts will look like.
Absolutely. I would love
Yeah.
that. And we're getting a lot of that done in NXT with Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. A lot of good stuff happening. I think, yeah, if we can open that division up to a lot more people, we can have more varied stories. We can have that tag team division. We can have more common women main events.
Yeah.
We have lots of stuff.
And until then, we'll have Glow on Netflix.
There you go. There you go.
I can't wait until June comes around.
Absolutely.
That's going to be great.
That's supposed to be really good. I'm pretty excited for it.
There's
it's
a trailer.
Genji Cohen, right?
Oh, gosh.
I believe so. Should be
Comes out
good.
June 23rd.
Yeah.
There you go.
June.
There you go.
Oof, great.
Speaking of the women's division, we've got the Raw Women's Champion who retained last night, not without a little bit of controversy.
Yeah, a little bit of Sasha Versey.
Just a little bit. She's
Mm-hmm.
out here with Raw GM. Is he the GM or commissioner?
He's
I can,
the GM.
I can never remember. Well, Stephanie's
the commissioner.
Stephanie comes out and overrules him every single time
Because
he tries
she's
to make.
She's the commissioner.
Right. Well, that's why I figured she was both. I can never remember what the title is because anything he says she's going to come out and undermine anyway.
Yeah, it's like being a general and being a sergeant. He's a sergeant, she's a general.
I see that. Here's why. I'm used to maybe 2000, 2001, that era of Commissioner Foley when he had the shirt that he couldn't
okay.
fit all of Commissioner across.
Which he was wearing like
Commissioner.
last week. I'm
Exactly.
pretty sure he was wearing that shirt.
That's why. You see, I'm not without my methods. But you know, Bailey's out here, and it's not too long before her friend Sasha, like we mentioned about the controversy last night.
Right.
She comes out, and she has a brilliant idea. It might have come out of nowhere.
Yeah. I'm sure this wasn't in the works at all.
Not a plan. No
Never.
machinations everywhere.
Yeah.
But she says, you know what? We always talked about tearing it up on the grandest stage of them all. So how about you give me a shot at that title?
There we go. You know, she did it in just the right way at just the right time. I'll tell her that.
Oh.
That was...
During a segment with Mick Foley, where he's willing to just give anyone any sort of match.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And he already likes both of them.
Exactly.
And, you know, they're going to WrestleMania.
So Sasha comes out asking for a title match, kind of apropos of nothing, really.
Yeah, she's just like, hey, you can swing this for me, right? It's like, you can get me on the list,
Hey,
right?
I've inserted myself into this title picture enough times. Why don't you give me a shot?
So I can take it from you.
Exactly. That's what it is. And Mick, you know, he's completely on board.
Yeah.
But Charlotte Flair, she's having none of it.
No, she wasn't. She was like, wait.
Hold on. Now hold on a minute, player. She comes out bedecked by Dana Brooke.
Yes.
And
wearing her like a decoration.
Of course, exactly.
Yeah.
And she's not happy. Not happy about being robbed at Fastlane last night.
Yeah, because Sasha kind of interfered.
Yeah.
You know? And Bailey didn't see it. But even if Bailey had seen it,
And there's only so many times that you can play that card, you know?
Right.
Like,
like-
sure, she didn't see it, but she didn't tell her to stay in the back either.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah. She didn't. She made, Charlotte tell Dana to stay in the back. She didn't talk to Sasha.
She didn't offer up her own friend as you know, what's good for the goose and what have you.
She was like, I'm just going to say nothing. Plausible deniability.
They'll be none the wiser.
because Bailey's malicious.
Exactly. There's gears turning.
Yeah.
Believe you me, there's gears turning.
You can be a nice person and have an agenda.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Everyone's got agendas. The nice ones have decorated agendas. That's all.
There you go.
She has an agenda. It's just like a Lisa Frank agenda.
Oh,
That's what
I want that agenda.
That's what it is.
I want that planner.
But there's back and forth. There's banter. Charlotte, she calls Mick out on, you know what? All you care about is just your two daughters being in the women's title match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, she's kind of talking like she was a redheaded stepchild.
Which, I mean,
Yeah.
Mick can't really say anything to that, you know?
Well, I mean,
He tells Charlotte that she lost her contractually mandated rematch, but obviously, like I said, not without some controversy. So who better than to solve all of this than the boss herself, Stephanie McMahon?
yes, the boss.
The real life boss.
The real boss. Check.
Right. I don't know if you guys remember that she has a little bit of authority around here.
Oh, you don't remember?
I don't know if you guys know.
You know
the
what would
McMahon
help you remember?
name.
5 fingers to the face.
Of course, that's coming.
Help you
that's
remember.
coming. But Stephanie, she's not happy about Mick Foley and his his ways.
His matching up.
Exactly.
Say
Exactly.
Charlotte can't be a part of it.
Right. So you know what? She flips it around. She gives Charlotte
CM Punk chant here also, and she handled this.
I gotta give her credit.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. You know, that crowd, they pipe up. They're starting to chant CM Punk. She says, "You know what? Like CM Punk, you're all losers." And
like, okay, Stephanie.
and I mean that did make them much louder for a little bit, but there you go. It was a zinger.
But then they started listening to her after that.
Exactly. They're like, "Oh, okay, we can stop."
Yeah,
now.
she's got kids. She knows how to handle it.
Exactly. She knows.
She goes around and be like, just like CM Punk, you're losers.
You're losers.
Now take out the trash.
I like to think her kids just chant CM Punk when they don't want to do things, and then she has to do that to set them straight. But yeah, it's been long enough that they had to kind of ignore those and pretend they weren't happening.
Yeah.
So on a long enough timeline, you kind of have to start embracing them.
Yeah.
But Stephanie McMahon, because Charlotte was robbed, she gives Charlotte the match instead at WrestleMania. Oof. Briefly makes it Bayley versus Charlotte, but Mick finally kind of steps up a little bit.
Yeah, he does.
Kind of stands up for himself a little bit and says, "You know what? After the year that Sasha's had, you cannot leave her out of the title picture." And so Stephanie says, "You know what? As much as I hate to agree with you, you're right. You've got a gem of an idea. So how about this? We're gonna have Bayley take on her friend Sasha Banks. If Sasha wins, then the match at WrestleMania becomes a triple threat match.
Yes.
But that match ain't happening next week.
No,
it's happening right now.
Right now. You almost have to wonder what would be in place, because there's a lot of matches that are like, this is happening right now.
That's the running joke is like, what would happen on Raw if nobody like got on the mic? Like, what would they have planned?
Like, I don't know, be like, I guess we're clocking in at a solid hour this time.
Would they just have like a 30-minute barn burner between Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel? Like, that's the kind of stuff that gets bumped. Like, sorry guys.
Yeah, I suppose so. Man, maybe Heath Slater just shows up.
Right.
I would like that. He'd be like, "Hey, I'm on SmackDown, but just stopping by."
Well, one of the cool things about the era prior on, you know, like shows like Nitro or something like that was that kind of like, that was the pretense. Like, obviously we're a wrestling company, we had a wrestling show planned, then all this cool stuff happened, now we're rushing it because it's more important.
Yeah.
And they would say like, "Oh, we had originally planned for, I don't know, Jerry Flynn versus Alex Wright, and now it's not happening because these guys showed up."
Yeah, you have like Nia Jax back there with 5 jobbers that are about to take her on. She's like, "Well, next week."
All right, guys, take your $200 and go home. You survived another night.
We'll see you next week.
Exactly. Come back next week. But I really enjoyed this match. I enjoyed the sporting aspect of it. What'd you think?
I did. I enjoyed that. I mean, there wasn't any nastiness involved.
Right.
It's like a straight up match. It was extremely patient. I will say that with it. I guess
that's a good word to put it.
Yeah,
good
it was
word.
extremely patient. You kind of figured that they were feeling each other out, trying to see like, what would be cool here, what wouldn't be, kind of a thing. So as far as matches go for me, I prefer more like, you know, brutal or, you know, technical.
Well, and you know, it started really technically. It started with a lot of grappling, a lot of train wrestling. I was kind of expecting, because there were such high stakes on the line for Sasha, I was expecting something where
her to just show her ass.
She was, but I was expecting her to go for pinfalls immediately. Just go for those flash pins right away. Schoolboy, crucifix,
right.
Molly Straw Cradle, all sorts of stuff. Right. Try to get that win right away, you know, because not only does she not want to hurt her friend, but she wants to win as quickly as possible to ensure that she goes to Orlando.
Yeah. Well, she needs that. She needs this triple threat. So, yeah. It seemed like it was a good competition between friends, and then just like with any competition between friends, it got serious.
Of course.
Yeah. Where it's like, hey, yeah, we're friends. Ooh, you clocked me there.
Oh, we ain't playing anymore. Okay.
Oh, we're not playing. Okay.
Right.
Okay, I just want to know. I know the rules now.
I got it. Of course, Charlotte's on commentary. That doesn't last the whole match, of course.
Yeah.
Charlotte makes her way down to ringside because, you know, she's got a dog in this fight. She doesn't want it to be a triple threat match either.
Yeah. I mean, she's got the skills where she doesn't, you know.
Well, and she mentioned that a little on commentary. She says, you know, I don't care who wins. I'm confident in my abilities either way. But of course, if given the opportunity, if given the choice, I think everyone would rather have a one-on-one match, as opposed to a triple threat. Because as they pointed out to Bayley, if it's a triple threat, you don't even have to be pinned to lose that title.
Yeah, you want to limit those variables.
Exactly.
You can control what you bring into it, but if you have two other fighters going on, I mean, think about it with how she ended up winning it. I mean, having Ric Flair on the outside, he's a wild card variable. You know, he's pulling on Sasha when Becky's out. So for her to win the women's championship in the first place, so it's like, yeah, you don't want people in the ring with you. You want you and that one other person. And she knows that because she utilized that all the time.
Of course.
Yeah. She's no dummy.
Oh, she knows.
No, she knows.
Sasha Banks at one point hits the bank statement, has Bayley locked in. Charlotte, goes to maybe get a closer look at that move in particular.
Yeah, you don't know who she was going for.
No, but Sasha, to her credit, kind of kicks Charlotte away, and then one smooth motion rolls back into the bank statement, locks it in even deeper in the middle of the ring, taps out the women's champion, and now we've got a triple threat match on our hands.
Yeah, at WrestleMania. It's like, okay. I mean, it was a clean match. It was clean, except for a little bit of distraction from Charlotte. A little bit,
but
tiny bit.
Given the way that women's title matches have been going lately, it was basically clean.
Yeah. One thing though, like when Bayley first came out, and it was her talking with Mick and how she was going through her feels with whether or not she was really women's champion kind of thing. I'm guessing that they're just going to go that route with this. So,
like, how do you mean?
Like, where it doesn't seem like where she hasn't had a clean match, not because she's dirty, but just because of outside influences.
It just happens to be going down that way, right?
Exactly. So now I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen at WrestleMania with that. I mean, you've got the three of them in the ring. There's this like contention, her own personal contention with whether or not she's really women's champion.
Sure.
So how they can play with that when it comes to that match.
Well, and that's the great thing about a match like this, is because there could be cases made for everyone. There could be good stories made for Charlotte. Obviously she's going for now her fifth Raw Women's title in 1 year. She's going to, if you're looking at it from a character point of view, you could think, she's trying to start a new streak. Because her pay-per-view streak was ended last night at Fastlane. Yeah. Maybe she wants to kind of make people forget about that blemish.
Although she hasn't lost a belt at a pay-per-view.
True.
So that's an ongoing
That could be a much more specific statistic.
That's super specific, though.
They started throwing at us.
Super specific.
Of course, Bayley, she's struggling with it. She wants to cement herself as not only a champion, but a legitimate champion. So that's what's in it for her. And of course, Sasha Banks, if you think about it, it was really Sasha's title to win last year at WrestleMania. Yeah. And so she could be chasing her Mania moment.
There you go. I like this.
There's pro-graps.
It's definitely not pre-show.
when you think about pro-graps, man, there's some beautiful storytelling there.
Yeah.
What do we got next? Oh, after the match, after Sasha wins, gets her way into that main event, or into that title match at Mania. Of course, Charlotte needs to make her presence felt. Hits a couple huge big boots.
Yes, into the face.
To Sasha, to Bayley, and then holds up that title, of course, with the WrestleMania sign in the background. Beautiful photo op.
It was a beautiful shot.
Right?
I liked that.
That they love using that sign.
Oh,
and that is no spoilers, but that's not the last time you'll see that shot tonight. Next up, we've got Charlie Caruso backstage with Roman Reigns saying, "What do you think about Braun Strowman saying that he's going to finish what he started with you?" And he says, "You know what? If Braun wants to find me, I'll be in the middle of that ring at the end of the night."
There you go. It's very informational.
There was, and that's the thing about this segment. I should have seen something coming because they didn't give us much.
Yeah.
They said, you know what, Braun wants to finish it, and Reigns is going to be in the ring at the end of the night. Well, Reigns was right on that, at least.
Yeah, that it was a fact.
Yep.
It was definitely a fact.
He deals in facts. Next up, we've got a package. We talked a lot about packages tonight. We got one on Seth Rollins, on his rehab from his injury.
Yeah.
And, he's working with Kevin Wilk. He's getting that mobility back.
Yeah, 3 times a day.
Right?
Yeah.
He's no joke. If you saw that WWE 24 special when he was coming back from his first injury, he goes hard. Not to quote the Revival's music, but he goes hard
Yeah.
all day, all night.
Yeah, no, because and what he even says in the package is that you know, wrestling is my life.
Sure.
So I have Raw and I have Rehab, and then that's it.
That's his job.
That's his
That's
job.
his career right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a great, you know, a lot of good stuff to see. We've got Triple H via satellite who says, you know what? At first I thought it was just ignorance that he wasn't listening to his doctors. Now I think it's just stupidity. You know, Seth Rollins, he calls himself the man because it's the farthest thing from the truth. People called me the cerebral assassin. They called me the king of kings. They called me the game. I didn't call myself that.
Which is like, that's a good point.
I mean,
that's a real good point. You don't nickname yourself.
Right. Triple H is a lot of things. He ain't a liar.
Yeah.
But he says, you know, he backs up his claim that if Seth Rollins shows up at WrestleMania, it will be the last thing he does in a WWE ring.
Ooh. You kind of have to think if he's coming from the point of view where it's like, because I'm going to take you and that knee out once and for all, or you're fired,
Or because I'm gonna take out a very official restraining order, and you will not be allowed on the premises.
I'm going to have so many refs.
Right.
I'm going to have like 12 refs holding you back.
More local talent playing security guards than you've ever seen.
They're going to have man buns. It's going to be...
The entire Florida indie scene will be wearing black polo shirts.
Oh, man. Hawaiian shirts would be underneath it. Oh, I love you Orlando people. You're my hometown.
Next up, we've got Samoa Joe coming out for his match against Chris Jericho. But before that gets started,
Ooh.
we've got another vignette, guys. Because the makeover, it took a long time, but it was there. Now, we're going back.
No.
We're going back
No.
from Emelina
I'm leaving.
to Emma.
I'm leaving.
You know what? I'm okay with this.
You can do this show by
I'm
yourself.
okay with this.
I'm leaving.
I'm all right with it. As long as it doesn't take 17 more weeks, if we can get back to shoulder pad aviator glasses, Emma, I'm okay with
Like
that.
Top Gun Evil Emma.
With the half gloves, the weird half gloves that always really bothered me.
Man, just
I'm all right with it.
I'm done with it.
I'm
done with it.
If it took
I'm
this
done
long
with
to
it.
get here, let it be means to an end.
Man.
Just let us have Evil Emma again.
Fine.
Hashtag let us have Evil Emma
Fine,
again.
but if they do this and they're like, "Oh, Evil Emma's coming. You've been waiting for so long. I'm gonna bust some butt, and this is happening." And da 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 da. And then they have her walk out and be like, "Yeah, you've waited for so long, and now you're gonna wait for longer." And then Bubble Emma's gonna be coming
This isn't even
around.
my final form.
She's like de-evolving.
Exactly. It's the Devo machines from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
There you go.
You got it.
She's gonna, and then we're gonna be back to Bubbles.
Exactly.
Although I liked that. I thought that was cute. Her and Santino.
She
back
makes it
when.
work. You know
yeah,
what?
she made it work.
She makes
It was
work.
cute.
As
But
Tim,
Evil Emma's better.
as Tim Gunn would say, she makes it work. Next up, we've got Samoa Joe. You like that?
You did not just toss that in there.
You like that.
Like, I'm just gonna leave this
I'm
here.
just gonna leave it right here. If you like it, you can send it right back.
Here's some of the other shows I watched.
We've got Samoa Joe taking on Chris Jericho. I loved this. It was shorter than I expected. I'll say that. But I enjoyed it while it lasted.
Well, he was tenderized from before.
There you
so
go.
there is that.
There you go.
And then, his heart was already hurting from all the hurtful words.
It's still,
that takes it out of you. That's
Absolutely.
an emotional takeout. So.
Also, once again, to go back to last night a little bit, if you guys can also find Joe versus Sami Zayn, that was really, really good stuff. Joe versus Zayn, Roman versus Braun, and Neville versus Gallagher were three absolute barn burners last night.
Yeah, I like the Neville versus Gallagher.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But we get some good stuff. We get some good stuff out of Joe versus Y2J. We get a beautiful enziguri from Chris Jericho right to the back of Joe's head. Eventually, they brawl to the outside. Joe locks in. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Whew. Joe locks in the cookie in a clutch on the outside.
Yeah, like they're right there next to the apron. Like you could see that Jericho could see like where the mat was, but he's just locked in, can't breathe, slowly fading to black.
Absolutely. Once that clutch is locked in,
Oof.
you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
And I like this finish actually. He chokes him out and he just leaves him laying, gets back in the ring, and he wins by count out.
Yeah, he does.
It's-
he rolled back in at like what, 8?
It was the most dominant count out victory I've seen in a while. I'll
Yeah.
put it that way.
He was willing to chance a double count out just to win.
Sure.
Just to have that happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
Jericho got kicked while he was down.
Man,
so to
right?
speak. Man.
But you know what? He gets. You could say Jericho gets the last laugh.
Yeah,
Because he
that's
throws
true.
throws in a code breaker.
Yeah, well, Samoa Joe, he needs to learn from Enzo. That's one thing. You do not just leave.
Once you win,
Just leave.
just get out of there.
Yeah,
Right.
that's all you need to do. Because then he climbs back out of the ring, picking up Jericho by his hair, trying to get him in the ring to then do something else to him.
Mm-hmm.
So then Jericho's like, no, I think not. I've got my second win now. You're lucky that bell rang. Code breaker in your face.
Let me just break this code right now. Hits him with that code breaker.
Yeah,
We get
and then
that sweet
Mad
Jericho
Dog,
music.
where he's like, "Come on, bring it.
Oh
I
yeah.
got nothing to lose.
I
I got no friends. Wait, I'm surrounded by friends, but I lost a friend I thought I
Do
had.
something about
It's
it.
like, do something.
Do something about it. Mark Donegan, have you seen that HBK promo where they slow it down, make it sound like he's
Really?
been sipping on something?
I don't remember it.
I'm gonna show you as soon as we go offline.
Please do.
I can't stop thinking about Emma. I've got Emma after the Joe
is
versus
this?
Y2J. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
But Braun Strowman's out here and he says, you know what, Roman Reigns got lucky at Fastlane, but tonight his luck runs out.
Hey, thanks by the way for turning it down a little bit for us. When we-
I don't even hear it right now.
Oh, Braun, he's got such a soft and clean song. I just wanted to sort of fade again.
I'm so
Yeah.
bummed. I didn't mean to no sell it. I just don't hear it at all.
That's supposed to sell at time.
There you go. You got it.
I think he jacks it up for Johnny because he just likes to see him jump.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Johnny LaQuasto.
I like it. Oh, J-Lo.
Yeah.
Hello, J-Lo. But Braun's out. He says, Reigns' luck's going to run out tonight. The first couple bars of Roman Reigns' music hits.
Yeah, so we're like, okay, so this is gonna happen. We'll
Yep.
see a little bit of wrestling, but then
I don't know how you guys feel about gongs.
this happened
Yep.
while Braun was standing in the ring. We've got 27 days before WrestleMania.
27 days till the ultimate thrill ride.
And Undertaker shows up in the ring.
Suddenly, Undertaker.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it was like was it a magic missile?
There
Like
you-
ultimate magic
There you
missile.
go. Exactly.
It hits every time.
Hey, every time.
Every time.
This I loved the way this was presented. Just that because I didn't know what they were gonna. I was like, are we
It's like,
really?
what is this?
I was like, are we really gonna go off the air with another Roman Braun brawl? I was like, I guess I'm okay with it. Roman Braun was admittedly dope last night, but
Yeah.
all
Ooh,
right.
Braun did some air.
But that
caught
that
some
splash,
air.
Lordy. But just seconds into Roman's theme, the only way it would have been better is if we heard like a record scratch.
To keep it real 90s.
It's exactly. Then we go back into the Limp Bizkit Undertaker theme.
Oh, wow.
Comes back out to Rollin', comes out on the bike and everything.
Oh no, chocolate starfish.
You got it. I like that album more than I like to admit that I did. But Taker comes out and Braun wisely backs out.
Yeah, keeping his eyes on Undertaker the entire time.
He had a very specific opponent in mind, and he was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I didn't plan for this, so I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, he's like, I brought my big guns to a gunfight, and you're a nuclear,
Yo.
you're a nuclear weapon.
I got a gun. What y'all got? Oh, y'all got lots of guns with,
I got a grenade.
with lasers on them.
he's like, what's his name? Where he's running around with the grenade. He's like, ah.
Oh, he's like Brick. Exactly.
Brick. He's like, he's got the grenade.
Exactly. But you know what? He leaves Taker to his own devices, leaves out through the crowd. And here's another kind of moment of uncertainty where I'm not sure entirely where we're going.
Yeah.
But then we hear Roman Reigns' music again.
And then there we go, like the full thing this time.
The big dog.
Yeah, and he comes out.
One of these days we got to play the version of Reigns' music with lyrics.
There's
Wait,
one with
is there a
lyrics.
version with
What did the
how
lyrics say?
butt is it tied?
It's incredible. Someone made it. I think it was someone on Squared Circle made it, and it's pretty incredible.
And they're like, I'm the guy.
It's just like that.
the
It's
guy.
just like that. It's very cool. But Roman Reigns comes out and he says, "You know what? Braun called me out here, not you." So
he did say with no disrespect.
Of course,
But
you have to preface it with no disrespect.
Yeah, but his tone didn't have the whole no disrespect. It wasn't a disrespectful tone.
No, but it wasn't overly respectful.
Exactly.
Either.
It was a strong tone.
Right.
To take with the dead man.
Sure. And he says, you know what? This is my yard now.
No.
And you just don't say that.
Did you not see Neville and Austin Aries earlier?
Right.
It's like, no, he must not have seen that.
Sometimes when you speak up to someone's face,
Yeah.
you get got.
Yeah. It's like, no, you don't sass the Undertaker.
And he tells the Undertaker it's his yard, and the Undertaker briefly, he looks up at that WrestleMania sign.
Mm-hmm.
And then he grabs the big dog by the throat and chokeslams him right in the middle of the ring.
Yeah. And he's down. Of course he is. He just
Yep.
got chokeslammed by the Undertaker.
And this crowd is erupting.
Yes, they were all about this.
Oh, yeah.
Chicago.
I think, to be fair, Roman Reigns didn't
They even
get...
started a chant.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, they did start a Roman sucks chant.
Yeah, they did.
But I think Roman's finally, slowly winning people over.
Oh, yeah, I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
Because we've said it a million times. He isn't the problem.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is doing perfectly fine.
He's fine.
Doing what he's told.
You know, he's...
It's everything around him. It's what's surrounding him that people don't like.
Yeah.
So I think when
It just doesn't fit. It's being shoehorned.
Exactly.
That's what people are,
right.
grading. That's what's...
So if you let him have these hoss battles with Braun Strowman and don't talk much, then that's fine. That's great.
Yeah.
And I think that's... Watching Braun versus Roman last night got me really excited for the prospect of Roman versus Taker.
Oh, okay then.
I'm pretty stoked for
And
it.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It was good all around.
Now that Taker is down to a Mania-only schedule, he's able to pull out those insane moments. So I think him versus Roman could be really special.
Yeah, I think it could work. Although for this whole last segment, I just would have changed it up just a little bit.
How's that?
Like if I was Cruz.
Sure.
Like I would have had it where yes, Braun Strowman in there, he's calling out Roman Reigns. I would actually have Roman Reigns come out, but no talky, no Mikey. No, he just runs straight for, they're about to go at it, just like we had at Fastlane. And then before they collide, Undertaker music.
Ooh, there you go.
And then you have Undertaker appear between the two of them.
Interesting.
And then you have Braun be like, I'm good.
Did I leave my car running?
Yeah, it's
I gotta
like,
look at my
alright.
wrist. I gotta go.
Be like, this isn't the match that I signed. Okay, and I'm good.
Right.
And then Reigns could do his little sassy talk and then choke slam down.
Sure.
And that takes us into commercials.
I could see that. I could see that for sure. I do. I really like the image of them just like charging like anime style.
Kind of like a Rocky.
There you go.
Where it's like, whoa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
we're not on the fast lane. We're on the fastest lane. We're on the faster lane.
Yeah, we're on the fast track.
To WrestleMania. We're on the fast track.
Yeah.
Guys, if you live in Southern California, take the 91. Take the fast track. But we've got in one episode of Raw, we've got 2 confirmed matches.
Yes.
For us, 2 more confirmed matches.
We've got
rather.
that triple threat,
We've got the triple threat for the women's title. We've got the U.S. Championship match between Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens.
Cannot wait for that one.
Exactly.
It's gonna be great.
We've got basically it might as well be official. Undertaker taking on Roman Reigns.
Yeah, we know that.
They haven't put the ink on the paper just yet, but once you look at that sign with that look in your eyes, that's as official as it gets, really.
There you go. And we already knew about Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, but now it's a title match.
Now it's for the Universal title, of course.
So, yeah, that's got some high stakes thus far.
And this is just on the Raw side of things.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to forget there's an entire other brand now. But that's good. That's good. I think that's the best part of the split. So we'll see.
There you go. We're going to get our full 9 hours.
Mania's stacking up. It'll be a doozy. It'll be a long one if it was anything like last year, but it'll be good.
I hope they streamline it just a bit more.
A little bit.
Just a bit more.
Little bit. Maybe don't have the pre-show match in front of an empty stadium. That's all right.
Maybe that. But keep the spectacle. Like WrestleMania 31 when Rusev came out on a tank.
A tank.
He had a tank.
Short hair, handsome Rusev is my jam. Now, let me just say that.
Yeah, he's kind of looking like Sabretooth with that.
Oh, there you go.
Kinda
exactly.
got that.
Maybe he should start doing Rick Rude's entrance instead.
Oh man.
He's like,
Handsome Rusev in airbrush tights.
Ravishing
Rusev?
Russian Rusev? Oh, just Ravishing Rusev.
Ravishing
yeah.
Rusev, but you're right. He's already got the Ravishing Russian.
Oh yeah, well, Lana. So
maybe he's...
ravishing Russian and Ravishing Rusev.
There you go. You got it. You got it. Well, guys, that's our show. We'll be right back here,
All the
same bad time,
speculation.
same bad channel next week with Johnny LaQuasto right here in the sea. I'm just keeping it warm for him. But for now, Markeia McCarty, where can they find you?
I'm pulling up my calendar right now so they know because I don't know my own schedule if my phone's not in front of me.
You're that busy.
Yeah. Oh, yes, actually.
It's a good problem to have.
Everything is color coded.
There you go.
Obviously you can catch me here on Raw with John LaQuasto and Ty Matthews, and then you can catch me on Marvel Movie News on Popcorn Talk. That is 2:30 on Tuesdays. We talk things Marvel, we talk things nerd, we talk things fun. I'm also doing things with Screen Junkies. Today I did 2 bits for them. One involving the new Batmobile, which is a super heavy tank destroyer thing. And then also, what's X-Men's next move? So you can catch that on my Twitter. I have that on there. And then speaking about my Twitter, you can follow me at Markeia McCarty, Markeia McCarty. Same for Instagram, but if you want to see me on Snapchat, because selfies, Darth Thinmitz. Darth as in Vader, and Thinmitz as in the greatest thing on earth.
Of course. Mark Donica, where can they find you?
Oh boy, Ty, you surprised me. You can find me on Twitter at Mark P. Donica. Also, check out all of our other wrestling programming here on AfterBuzz TV. We've got tonight our Raw After Show, Tuesday our SmackDown After Show, Wednesday I host the NXT After Show, and then also today on Making the Way to the Ring with Lillian Garcia, we had AJ Styles.
Ooh, there you go.
It was a wonderful interview. Make sure to check that out. And this week on Xbox 12360, a little bit of a flashback. We've got Exotic Adrian Street.
Oh my!
Yeah,
okay.
Pretty excited for that one. And Lillian also announced that we're going to have Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch on the show for the next 2 weeks. So make sure to check those out. Thank you, Ty. How about you?
God, look at that. Well, speaking of the wrestling programs on AfterBuzz, keep your eyes glued on Thursdays because May 31st, Lucha Underground returns, which of course means the Lucha Underground After Show returns with myself, Mark B. Donica, Rachel S. Sam Evans, Jimbo Slice.
That's me.
All that good stuff. It'll be great. But for now, you can find me on Mondays right here on the Monday Night Raw After Show. Wednesdays for the Magicians After Show, and of course on all forms of social media at Ty Matthews PMA. Find me on PlayStation Network. Let's play some Overwatch. But yeah, that'll do it for us this week, guys. Until next week, peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
At the end.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.